So this is quite an unplanned video because it is Eating Disorder Awareness Week and I haven't shared anything about my personal story of living with an eating disorder. And I always really struggle with these things. I always really struggle with sharing anything that's personal, anything that's emotional, anything that's connected with mental health, anything that could expose me or my kids to any negativity online, and also anybody who might think that I'm sharing for the wrong reasons. So before I share my own personal story of living with an eating disorder, I am going to share with you why I am sharing with you, if that makes sense. I truly believe that by talking about our personal stories and our personal struggles with any mental health issues, that we raise an awareness and that we connect with people that could also be struggling. Every time I have made a video that makes me feel uncomfortable, that makes me feel vulnerable, that makes me feel scared to post, that's often the video where I get some of the most amazing messages of people saying that it's helped them to get help for themselves. So if you're watching this because you're struggling with an eating disorder, whether you're questioning that it might be something that you've got, then I hope this video can help you to reach out and get some help before it's too late. And when I say before it's too late, I have actually written down some of the stats because it's really shocked me. I've been kind of thinking all week, can I talk about this? Is this too personal? Is this too difficult for me to share? And then I read up the stats and I realised that I need to share my story in the hope that it's going to help somebody out there. There's 1.25 million people in the UK who are living with an eating disorder. There are 20 million people in the United States living with an eating disorder. These are the people that we know about, the people that are part of this statistic, the people that have come forward and recognise that they have an issue. I would imagine that the numbers are far greater than that. Sadly, eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any mental illness out there. That's really sad. So I do want to get behind this campaign. I know it's the end of Eating Disorder Awareness Week and not the beginning, but it's taken me until today to be able to record this. Gone through it and through it in my head. I've gone through my story in my head, and I can only hope that by sharing my story, it might encourage you to get help a little bit earlier than I did. So, as I've already said, some of the different things that can trigger or start an eating disorder. We're talking about bulimia, binge eating, anorexia, taking laxatives. Some of the things that can trigger those are life events, as well as poor body self-image, poor body image, puberty, stress. In my case, it was a sexual attack that triggered it. I was 17 and it was a massively tough time in my life. That's not what I want to talk about. But for me, it took away control of my body. It took away my feeling of control of my life, of my body. It made me feel vulnerable. It made me feel not safe. Made me feel judged. I had to go through a Crown Court case and stand in front of a jury and tell my story. It was a really, really painful thing to go through. For me, it was completely subconscious. There wasn't a point where I realised that I wasn't eating. So it wasn't like I thought I need to gain control. I know, I'm going to show everybody. Or it wasn't like I felt I wasn't getting the attention I needed. It was simply something that happened to me and I was unaware that it was happening. The first time that I became aware that I was unwell was my mum, who's known for being quite direct. And she just looked at me and she went, "Annie, your leggings are baggy. You have lost so much weight that your leggings are swinging around your legs." And it really was a moment where I thought, what do you mean? And it just kind of just made me realise that I was losing weight, and I hadn't thought about it until that point. And then the second thing was the police officer from the CPS who phoned me about my case asked me how I was doing, and he said, "Anna, are you okay? I just want to ask if you're eating." And again, I thought, why would he ask that? But I guess he was seeing me losing weight as well, whilst I was struggling through this court case. And I guess it was the tiny thing in my life that I could control. I couldn't control what had happened to me. It had happened. I couldn't control the outcome of the court case. I couldn't control what was going to happen next at all. I couldn't control what was going to happen to me next. I couldn't control my emotions, which was really tough. The only thing that I could control was my eating and my weight. And that was it. So I slid into an anorexic state, and I went for counselling and I talked things through. Luckily, you know, I'm from a family where we discuss things, emotional, mental, physical things. So I did, you know, once my mum had talked to me directly about it, I was able to talk to her. I went to the doctors. I decided that I could beat it. And I believed that I had beat it. I believed that I did, because I started eating. I got stronger mentally and emotionally, and I felt like I'd dealt with things. But one of the problems with an eating disorder is it can come back and smack you in the face at any moment in life. So now stress or big emotional events can immediately trigger those tendencies to control my food intake. I went through a time at university where I started taking laxatives. I don't actually know whether my parents even know this bit. Sorry, Mum. I was taking so many laxatives after everything I ate to basically send it straight through my body and out the other end, that I collapsed one day. And I can remember calling my best friend Luke at the time on the bathroom floor in my student digs and asking him to come round, because I'd taken so many laxatives for so long that I wasn't getting any goodness into my body, and I'd become weaker and weaker. And I was doing a performing arts degree. Obviously you need a fair amount of energy to be dancing and performing every day, and I just couldn't perform normally. I didn't have the energy. I got pretty ill then, and luckily Luke picked me up off the bathroom floor in so many ways. He didn't leave my side, and kept a really close eye on me. He was an incredible friend. I just guess it's something I'm going to have to live with forever. Why am I sharing this with you? Because I want you to recognise the signs earlier than I did. I want you to ask for help earlier than I did. I don't want you to end up in hospital, or worse. Yes, it's the first time I think I've talked about living with an eating disorder, and it would kind of be easy for me to say that I'm not living with an eating disorder anymore, but actually when I talk about it I realise that I am, and all I can do is ask you to question what things trigger you, what negative self-harm, abusive things you do to yourself, whether you do it to punish yourself, whether you do it to get attention from people who aren't giving you any attention. For whatever reason you might be having self-destructive behaviours, please, please, please reach out and get help for them, because there are people out there who want to help. There are people out there to listen to you. Whatever it is you're struggling with, I would ask you to get help. Don't leave it too late.